very, very powerful with that equalizer to go down. So
I like
very
Caitlyn
cool.
here. Ooh, I don't like the Lucian. Caitlyn and Corki I like a lot.
Yeah, Lucian is not my favorite.
Really low range into Nautilus Vi.
Oh god. Okay.
And also Lock and also Rumble.
Well, they are still going to lock it away. Yep, it's going to need to be some crisp execution here from T1 as we get into our final game of the day. The DN Supers newly revamped Charvel roster up against the challenger squad of T1, seeing what they can do in this final game of the day. Obviously, not a whole lot riding on this. T1 are definitely through to the...
here in Korea. Just don't ward that. And actually, he didn't ward it. In fact.
No, he hasn't.
He walked over there, but then realized he didn't have a ward, I guess. Or maybe, no, he does have, I don't know. He didn't do it, but it's okay.
They're still going to look for a little bit of a dive attempt onto Peter, perhaps, but this is a champion that's not exactly the easiest to dive. Still, Painter is coming in. Let's see whether Peter can outplay as he flashes to get out of the way of the Sonic Wave. And Cloud will be tanking up this turret, but he does just kind of die. It's the execution, though, as Painter almost dies himself. All right. Painter is going to move over as they do find this control ward. Yeah, Harpoon's flying out as Peter, oh dear, going to be able to buffer the anchor quite nicely as the Cosmic Binding does go wide, but the Magical Journey will pull them over. That is another slow to come on down, but Peter is just going to stand his ground. Okay, they do manage to take him out, but they do manage to get over here as well as Closer is flashing on forward, looking for that angle as Painter is going to get tagged by a couple of Qs. There is the kill over to the lock. There's now Dudu. He overheats, but Hate, yeah, easily going to have enough damage here to take him down, and now Closer could be in the same amount of trouble.
I just don't think it's a good idea. This time DNS are ready. This is the kind of skirmish
I like
DNS
this
are
setup.
looking for. Exactly.
Closer moving in. Painter should be able to make his way out. Q not going to land as the first grub does get taken down. T1 at least lock up that one, and Painter gets back into this pit once again. Minion wave control is going to be there for the Jace. As now Dudu's rotating over. Equalizer up in 7 seconds time. And now Peter goes in, finds the anchor onto Cloud, who does get himself out of there. There's a decent taunt from Guti, who's in amongst this fight. There's a great kickback, and they execute the Vi. The Equalizer is just left abandoned on the ground. And Dudu gonna desperately try to escape, and it's not gonna work. It's
oppressively in control, and that's not gonna change without a lot of attention.
All right, Closer finding none of those Qs, unfortunately, but is able to teleport away. And Guti, okay, tagged by one of them finally. As Charvel getting some punches out. Depth Charge is going to come on through as there's a cease and desist as Painter is going to get put into the Tempered Fate, gets himself over the wall and back again one more time. Guti going to be able to lock down Peter here as a bit of an afterthought as the Winds of War do not quite find Closer. And now Charvel having to get himself out, looking for a re-engage once again, and Painter was ready for it. The double taunt comes down, and it was absolutely gorgeous there from Guti. Can they actually find an option as Closer trying to run around the outskirts of this fight, searching for some Qs, but it looks like they're not actually going to be able to go for anything. As in goes Peter, actually does find a little bit of an angle, but that is going to be Painter locking down the Rift Herald. Peter is now in a lot of trouble, but now the curtains have been called. Hate's made it to the fight though, and this is an absolute massacre from T1 when they bring all of that money onto the battlefield. Dudu gets there, but gets there to do what? That's the question, guys, and the answer is not a whole lot.
Super disjointed, and here comes Painter.
Yep, taunt from Guti there is fantastic. Cloud gonna hold them in position as Doctarm does utilize that in order to get here, but okay, well, it's not gonna kill it on this wave, maybe the next one, but the Equalizer will be able to thin this one out. There is a cannon though, as the Magical Journey comes down. Cloud is just gonna hold Dudu in place. There's the kickback as they look to try and kill him here. The curtain call was,
I mean, it's the only one we've seen today, right?
Yep.
And it's looking really good. Starting to see why potentially it was banned, but I think it's more about Hete is gonna maybe find Cloud, maybe almost sort of.
Yeah, ulti comes in, so they do manage to get that kill. The execution does come on through, and so Closer is able to lock that one up.
Finally, second kill of the game for the Lock. Is able to, with a lot of help from his squad, pick off the enemy support. Closer then will also die.
Very dead. Wow, that was a lot of hammer boops. You can see 10 out of 12 as far as skill participation, being able to set up a lot of things for the team. As this is a T1 Baron. It's not exactly the same T1 team, but they're going to go for the T1 Baron. Now looking for a little bit of a turn angle as the Tempered Fate holds him in position. So much damage already onto Shovel, who's now looking for a little bit of a turn. Just a Sponge flash out there from Guti, but he's going to be the first to fall. Peter finds a great anchor angle, but he will die. And now Painter just a little bit too strong. Cypher finding a couple of kills. And now the lockdown is just kind of missing. Heite's underneath an inner turret and tanks it up, gets himself out of there. The rest of DNS now looking for a bit of an angle. Oh, they just turned. The equalizer was just misplaced.
Yep, thought he was going to cut off the retreat. They just stopped running.
Here in this game, only 3 kills to their name, but it's the neutral objectives that have just belonged to T1 so far, as Doctarm able to sidestep the Tempered Fate, but had to walk back into the gaping maw of this massive Galio, who just feeds the kill over to the Jace.
Yeah, I guess just go take that Hex tag. Okay, well,
wait, whoa! Cypher gets out of the way, dashes, and it is going to be the Vault Breaker that takes him down. Still due to his dead. That was a little bit unfortunate. And now that is going to be another one. So Closer is also going to fall down. Peter is the last man standing, and I think he only just stood up.
Painter's like, nah, I don't think we need to do Dragon.
Well, they do need minions. They will be able to find some, though. Utilizing their Baron here to break open the base at 23.5 minutes. This is demolition, man. This T1A roster is kind of good, man.
Looking pretty good, Peter.
Yeah, Peter goes in, last-ditch effort to try and save this game, and I don't think Doctarm's going to be able to do much more than that either, as Guti does go down to some turrets, basically, but Doctarm is going to go down to the gigantic hammer gun that Heite has. The Nexus will follow. This is one of our fastest games of the day so far. T1, with their Academy roster, kind of making it look easy.
They certainly did. I think I'm voting Heite. I think Painter had a pretty good game, but Heite just was too good. He did too much. Set up,
I would agree.
in part by Painter.
I imagine we're going to be joined by a few other voters based on that one. Heite was pretty magical.
There's so many things to say about today, but I think one of the biggest takeaways for me is we very rarely get to see, obviously, Challengers versus LCK. We've seen it a few times in KeSPA Cup in years past, but sometimes it was like LCK versus Academy, like Tier 3, and it's just not a real game. But today we got to see...
And it is going to be Heite that picks up the player of the game, 8-0-2, legendary on the Jace. Yeah, and now we're going to be having a look at the standings, as unfortunately for BNK FearX, they took a little bit too long to win their games, and so KT will be promoting over them, even though both of them were on 2 and 3. We were a little bit worried about the Bros, but they were able to take down DK, and so they have made it through regardless. Having a look as well on the other side, we do have to break the ties as far as seeding is concerned, and so Gen.G, with their 2 very swift victories today at 25.5 minutes. On average, they have moved up to 2nd place from dead last at the start of the day.
Yeah, big wins. D+, worst result of the tournament, but I think if you watch back the games, you'll be surprised at how well they played, even though they ended up not being able to close any of them out.
Yeah, I think that there was some definite good moments for D+ Kia. I think that Solid didn't have the most fun so far in the KeSPA Cup, but hopefully he can hold his head up and try again better next time.
I can't say this is 1000% true, but I hadn't really heard anything about Solid before this tournament.